Right after my return from Santiago, I told you that on the phone, I told you that I read the complex not as an architectural project,
Right.
But as a text or a novel. And in other words, the structures one finds there carry a particular meaning and even a story that could be read by exploring the project.
Right.
And to that you said, that's correct.
I agree.
You agreed.
I've just said it again in a different way.
And your question to me was, would you say this novel that I understood the building as a novel, is closer to Dostoevsky or Tolstoy?
Tolstoy, right. And I said Tolstoy. And you said
I said
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky, but beyond that point, so this is something extraordinary, because you go through architecture and you get entirely displaced from reality to the world of fiction.
Right.
One of your goals in architecture is to displace certainty.
Yes.
Could you talk about why this is important?
One of the things of being alive is being somewhere. And Tolstoy uses this analogy, by the way, of the man cleaning the room and a cleaning person. And suddenly they can't remember if they cleaned the table. It's just so every day.
Routine. Yeah, it's a routine. Yeah.
Right? So to me, the idea of architecture is to stop the routine nature of being, right? Whether it's being at a computer, whether it's dancing, whether it's being a soldier, to try and use space and time to disrupt the routine of being. And so I believe that's the role that architecture has. And it comes from Tolstoy. I don't know where I know it's in Tolstoy. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think Berlin, you could say Berlin is boring, but it's boring in a different way.
No, it's not boring at all, because you actually want to
The stones
go back.
are the same.
They're the same, but at the same time they're all different.
They're all different.
Yeah.
Well, that's what boring should
And
be.
there are so many ways you can
Thank
explore
you.
it.
That's right.
It's unlimited.
I like that. But you could also say at the same time it's boring. That's the important thing. How do you make something which seems to be boring not boring?
Yeah, it proves you wrong if you go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to go there. Looking at it in a picture,
No.
good. You have to experience.
Well, it's the same with all buildings.
building. Well, what I would call
You cannot
architecture.
read it accurately if you just look at an
Yeah,
image.
but reading, when you go there, it's different than most other memorials that you've been to.
Absolutely.
It's different. Well, it's even different than Daniel's Jewish Museum.
No, his
Although-
garden.
No, the garden is nothing like that. He
It's-
says that. Bullshit. His garden is nothing. Our garden has nothing to do with being the pillars. It's two surfaces like this, and the pillars merely connect the surfaces. The thing is about this, and his is nothing to do with that. Be careful. That's a very that garden. Bleh. That I never write about that garden because it's silly. The ETA Hoffman.
Well, it's a different scale, but also this, the ground tilts.
But my ground is but my ground tilts like this.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
a
the
different
tops-
scale, so you had
Yeah.
a much bigger
I
range.
promise you, when Richard, Sarah, and I went to see his garden, we said we don't want to do that. That I can promise you.
Well, he built it first, so you could at least react to it.
Yeah, he built it first. I think architecture has lost. There is no authority. In other words, my students.
And there's no common ground.
No, the students don't know what to do today. And when
So
I
you
first started,
think it's okay?
no, I don't think it's okay.
No.
I think it's terrible. Look, when I first started teaching, we taught Frank Lloyd Wright. Everybody had the book on the desk. Then the second generation, I was teaching Le Corbusier. We had the book on the desk. Then the third generation, we did Sterling or Rossi, etc., right, or Venturi, whatever. Now there's nothing. There's nobody on the desk. The students have no authoritative model. And I think that's a big problem for
But do you
architects.
think in the future we could ever go back
Oh
to,
yes, we will
to
go
the
back.
authority?
Yes,
You think?
for sure. We need to look. We
How?
need to teach grammar,
Okay.
not style, but grammar. We need to teach what classical architecture was. I teach Renaissance architecture. I don't teach today. I don't have my students look at things today. Because I believe they have to have the basics to understand what Alberti did, what Brunelleschi did, Bramante, etc. I think is the most important thing that we can, in a period of uncertainty.
So this is a period of uncertainty.
Yes, for sure.
But it's been such a period for a long time, right?
Ooh, yeah, it's a very long time, I would say.
Starting from Venturi, right?
No, I mean, no,
He
that
started
it
it.
wasn't. No. Venturi
book.
was authority. He was an authority. No, it's after Venturi.
But he opened the door,
He opened the door to the possibility of that.
and
Yes.
we've been there for 50 years.
Yeah, but he still wasn't. He's no longer an authority.
No.
But he was the authority, as was Rossi, Sterling, etc. Gary's no authority. Zaha's no authority. Bjork Ingels is no authority.
They are stars.
They're stars.
Yeah, they are stars, and they are one of many stars.
One of many stars.
Years ago, in 2003, I asked you to summarize what is architecture for you. And could we finish this interview with the same question? What is architecture for you?
It's the possibility of making a difference in the experience of being in space and time. Not through gadgets or tricks or gimmicks, but through a deep understanding of the relationship of subject to object, and how that relationship can be modified to make being, that is, the being of the subject, understand more fully the condition of his or her being in the world. And that's what architecture does, is to be able to make more fully aware our being in the world, both mentally and physically, in space and time. That's what architecture does. Not in books, not in music, not in film. We do it in space and time. And that's what any art form tries to do, to make more conscious, more fully aware of the circumstances of music, of literature, of film, of poetry, of art, of sculpture, etc. And that's what architecture is that making more fully aware of the being in time and space of our lives.
You also said last time, I mean, not the last time, but the first time when you talked about what architecture is, you said that this is how society at any one point feels about itself.
That's true.
But at the same time, when
I don't care about that anymore.
your work is very personal, so it's not really about how the society feels.
I understand.
It's about
But
how
I didn't say
personally-
that. I didn't say that, did I? I don't care anymore about how society feels about it. That was what I did. I would agree that I said that. That's not what I just said.
No, I understand. Okay, thank you.
I'm able to change, right? And if you said, you said that how society feels about itself, I don't give a shit. I have other things.
Thank you.